Hello, it's Bolivia. I'm here for the Season 2 Sunrise Division SDL Power Rankings. Um, we had a very successful Season 1 last year. It was a blast, so if you're watching and you're not already in the server, I highly recommend you come and join us. We do plenty of fun things, and there will hopefully be a Season 3 that you might be able to join. There'll be a link in the description to our Discord server. But today we're here to rank the teams for the top division, so our better 16 coaches, although that's actually up for debate. Um, we'll see at the end of the season if some of our best from the lower are better than the worst from the upper, but I digress. We're here to rank the teams from 16 to 1, but I'm not alone. I have the champion of season 1, Jamal. Say hello.
Hello, what's up?
And I'm also joined by our Speed Tour champion, which we did in between season 1 and season 2, Rakia. So say hello as well.
Well,
So as you can see, we have two very distinguished players. They've won, um, which I can't say. I was unfortunately a semi-finalist last season, which probably is still good, but so as you can see on my screen, I'll explain how this works. We've got three rankings. One of them in the middle, because I'm the most important. No, I'm just kidding. Is my ranking of the teams. So 16 would be the worst. One would be the best. On the left, you have Champion Jamal's ranking, who's here with us. He'll be able to go into a bit more depth on his rankings. And then on the right, we have DB's ranking, who cannot join us, but as the right hand man of the server, we thought we'd include his ranking. Rakia will just be commenting on the teams with their thoughts. On the bottom left is the average, since unfortunately Phoenix is universally the worst team, which we'll get into in a second. His average is just 16, but there will be some decimal points provided if that ever becomes important, and then their final ranking is on the bottom right. So that's really what you want to be paying attention to. So I've just talked all y'all's ears off. So Jamal or Rakia, do you guys want to start talking about Phoenix's team? We'll like grab a quick drink of water.
sure thing. I'll start it off. So we have Phoenix's team here, which consists of Manaphy, Mammoslime, Megaloplay, Bogus, Entei, Bronxong, Thunder's Eye, Sableye, Flygon Raptors, and Rabombi. So the reason I and I think you and DB as well has this as like the lowest team is because like the main thing is he picked a Tail Glowless Manaphy round one, and
Wait, it was
so
that high in points with no tail glow?
yeah, that,
Why
that
was it 15?
that's a good question as well.
You
But
could you could you could blame me for it being that high. We had no idea it didn't get tail glow. Anyway, continue.
oh, okay, well that's like the main thing. But see, even outside of that, like like even outside of that, the team like he has a lot of like good mons on there. Like he has Mammoth Slime. That mon's hard to switch into. Megalo plays not bad. You know,
You want to know
Bronx.
what's funny about this team?
What's up?
Literally, all of his offensive mons, bar Thunderous, are walled by any water type with recovery.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I'm like into. Cause like it's funny too because since Manaphy's kind of like okay, it's still fine, like it's average. But it makes it hard for him. It makes it hard for like his team as well because he has like an okay like water type, and then he has Lapras, which is not bad, but compared to like all these offensive ones people have, it may like give him some trouble down the road.
I feel like there were better water types than Lapras if you really wanted to double up.
I mean, he could change those 50 points for Manaphy for a better water type.
Yo, you're right.
You could.
I don't know if
I
that
don't
one left.
see. Here's the thing. He said he was gonna. He was gonna fix his team in Grace. I presumed that that would mean no Manaphy, because Manaphy unfortunately is very overpriced, because that was an oversight on our staff. I think that the team has problems that run a lot deeper than Manaphy. Amoonguss as a Pokemon to support Mega Lopunny is additionally weak to flying um and psychic, so it does not really help Megalop at all. It's also a grass type that isn't weak to that doesn't resist ground, which on a team like this, with not a lot of resistances, I mean you have, excuse me, Rabambi, which would die anyway, and like Levitate Thunderous. Um,
Yeah,
I,
the
I,
Venus is Rabambi, then he has like Immunity and Thunders, and then Bronzong or Flygon with Levitate, but still, yeah, his team still doesn't appreciate ground types that much.
I
Yeah.
wonder, was Vikavolt still around? If Vikavolt's around, never take Rabambi. Rabambi sucks.
hey, Specs Rabambi hits like a truck. I agree with you. It still sucks, but I think Vikavolt was taken actually, but he already had Thunderous, which, okay, granted, I think Thunderous Prankster is pretty good. I like it a bit more than the Defiant one, but
Personally, Vikavolt, you can double up on electric types with Vikavolt.
yeah. That's another thing. I mean, there would be two electric types weak to Stealth Rocks, which is a whole nother can of worms. By the way, another thing, this
Yeah,
team
I
has
forgot
really
this.
poor hazard clear.
Yeah.
No, his hazard removal is Thunderous.
No, he got Flygon too.
No, Rabambi too, broken.
He does have good hazard setters, I will say. Mamoswine puts rocks up well. Bronzong's great. But I think this team lacks a lot of defensive synergy. I mean, your two main defensive Pokemon are both weak to fire unless you put Heat Proof on Bronzong.
Then you're weaker to ground.
Yeah, exactly. Then you lose your Levitate. So,
And I will say, like, his offense is good, but see, compared to like some of the later on teams, compared to like their offense, it's like kind of lacking, especially again with the Manaphy thing. So
this team does lack a lot in special offense as well. Considering he took the, granted, I still think it's better, the Incarnate Thunderous. He really lacks in some special attack. Especially with no Tail Glow and Manaphy. So last season we also thought Phoenix's team was bad. He ended up making the playoffs at 7-2.
yeah,
I think this team is significantly worse than that team though. So with that being said, let's move on to the next team on the list, which is going to be Torman, who's got an average of 14.667, but still comes in at the 15th spot. Take it away.
okay, that's the reason why I personally think there's like the second worst team is because it's kind of like Phoenix's case where like most of his mons, like because Tournament has a lot of good mons, but on the team itself, they're like kind of lacking compared to like other teams later on. Because like for Fable, that's a good fairy type, that's a good mon. Aegislash, that's really good. That's another standout mon. The Cosmo too, but then he has like some things like I make camera. His dark type is a Fujiana, so like I go. Like outside of Savali, those types are gonna have fun versus him. So it's just
Yeah.
kind of lacking. It's not like anything super impressive.
I agree. I think he did not draft well around Aegislash, which has a few important weaknesses that you need to take care of. Also,
I will just say though, even if he's about to make playoffs, if Fujiana isn't the kill leader, just deny it.
yeah, no, we'll rig it against him if he doesn't bring Poochyena to every game. The Camel has no place being on a team like this, which is sad considering it's one of the greatest Pokemon of all time. But you
Camel can be good if it's built around, but this team doesn't support it.
you
Yeah,
need Trick Room
like,
for it to
literally-
do anything.
Literally, I just recently I drafted two big camera. I didn't build the best around it, and the funny part is I also had Egg Slash on there. So like seeing this, it's kind of giving me flashbacks. I'm like, oh no, I thought that's not a struggle.
Oh
See,
no.
To me, I think his idea like started well. I really like Clefable, Silvally, Vaporeon. That's a pretty solid defensive foundation. And then it just like okay, first of all, the bottom 5 Pokemon make me vomit because Slurpuff although he actually did something pretty cool where he took away the best unaware Pokemon which is normally a good counter to Slurpuff, but it also has just no right being on this team.
I was about to say.
Wait,
Yeah.
what's so bad about Necrozma?
Okay, it's another big Pokemon on your team that's weak to dark. It's slow, and you don't actually have a really good Trick Room setter on this team. And
Necrozma doesn't need Trick Room.
that is true. You can run like the weakness policy set I've seen work. I don't think it's
Or Dragon Dance.
I don't think it's as bad. But yeah, I don't think it fits on this team either. I think if you got rid of Necrozma, you could get a better water than Frogadier, get a better dark than Poochyena, get a better Mega for this team. And you could just like
Or Slurpuff.
dissolve those points. And
Slurpuff's there as a web slave.
Yeah. Well, see, I think that's the main thing with the Cosmo not fitted is because he doesn't have like a good ghost or like dark switching to help to support the Cosmo.
or
I
a
mean,
or
what do you
Aegislash.
Silvally, broken.
Yeah.
Yeah. That.
Silvally will be.
average mon.
I'll be surprised if he goes to a game without Silvally. That mon's gonna be like just like holding 2 ropes and just like trying to tie them together.
It
Exactly.
is never gonna hold a memory.
What you mean? That's about to be his dark type. That's about to be
Yeah.
his Valley dark type.
Yeah, it's gonna be Silvally Dark. He's gonna run the legendary Silvally Dragon with Swords Dance, Parting Shot, Signal Beam, and Multi Attack. Ungodly set. I actually think this team is better than the team we'll get to in a second. Not really anything this team did right, more just like I don't like the other team. But let's move on. Torman, I've heard is a good battler, so he is in the hardest division in my opinion. But I wouldn't be too concerned. A lot of these teams at the bottom I know are good battlers, so it'll be
Yeah.
interesting
Wait.
to see.
I still think this will be a good like season. Like I definitely think the competition will still be high. It's just off team alone.
Yeah, no, this team is not able to hang. Anyway, all the 14s switched to 15s and vice versa. We have Lucas with an average of 14.333 and a final rank of 14. Why is it not a Mega Alakazam?
Listen, he saw my team last season.
Exactly.
I don't wanna copy
He's
him.
he saw all the teams that succeeded last year and he's like, okay, let me take Blissey, let me take Jamal's entire core, let me take
Let me take DB's, make a guard chomp.
Yeah. the two team hail from last season that Phoenix had last. Okay.
Didn't Phoenix have it for me too?
Yeah, Phoenix had Infernape and then yeah, no, this is just like it's like a quilt. It's a bunch of other teams from last season stitched together.
Combined on the All-Star team.
Oh yeah. He's got the Araquanid Doublade core from Drolo's team last year.
Yo, true.
The
Okay.
thing about this game is, I think it can be good, but it's just it's mainly just 8 Pokemon.
Something that immediately struck me about this team is that the hazard clear is abysmal.
That's what I
What do
was
you mean
gonna
it's
get
okay?
to.
You have Skuntank and Talon.
That's a
Oh,
that's a
oh
bad
my,
defog.
the two greatest defoggers in the game.
Yeah, Skuntank and Talonflame.
Yeah, Talonflame will never be able to run an item that isn't heavy duty boots on this team.
Exactly. No, actually, speaking of that, can we talk about how most of his mons do not appreciate Hazard? he got, I believe, 4 months weak to rocks.
5. Oh no, yeah, you're right, 4, because Infernape isn't weak.
Yeah. Then like, if someone has spikes, it's gonna be good for at least to make a guard chop, so we can make a guard chop. And then if someone has webs, wrap it up.
Yeah,
If someone-
there's a lot of grounded Pokemon on this team too. Now, granted, Alakazam can run Magic Guard to get rid of the the hazards, but just like even then,
He's running heavy duty boots Sam versus Webs.
Yeah, like Heavy Duty Boots about to be his best friend this season.
yeah,
Because
okay. I
without
think
them-
this team has like a lot of weird momentum things as well. Like, okay, you want your wind condition to be psychic terrain? Yeah, let's add hail and webs and Blissey as well. This is just I don't think this team is built to play around the Tapu Lele Alakazam. I don't even know what this team is built around. Okay, I think we got to give Lucas a lot of credit. He had to pick from scraps, so he missed a lot of.
Yeah.
He missed his opportunity because he had the 5th pick, so he could have gotten something really dope.
Yeah, so he did the best with what he was able to work with. I will give him that.
Yeah, but I really don't like this team. Just the utility is so poor.
Now, obviously, I'm not a big fan of it either, but the reason why I have it higher than a Tourman's team is because, like, the offense on this team, this is crazy.
That
The
is a
offense
true thing.
crazy. So, like, he has, like, a really outstanding point to his team compared to Tourman, who's just like an average team all around. That's why I have it slightly higher.
Oh yeah, I can see that. I thought Tormund's defense was a bit above average, and if anybody knows me, defense wins championships in my book. So that's why I had Tormund a bit higher. But okay, Reiki, any final words, or do you want to move on?
I think we should move on.
Yeah, get this out of my face. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so we have a pretty big jump from an average of 14.333 to an average of 11.666.
Oh, monkey.
These next few teams are all pretty close in average to each other. So we kind of diversify in our thoughts. I think from like team 13 to team 8, it's all like a close stretch. So I have this at 12. Jamal has it at 13. That boy has it a bit higher at 10 because I think he just loves big, strong Pokemon. But let's talk about the top-heavy Lord, Coach Matt.
Bro, I do not like this team. I'm gonna keep it real. Now, see, listen, I got first things. I gotta say, I respect that. Another Blaziken enthusiast we have here. I love that one. So I'm glad someone picked it up.
I think he went for his for if you could see in his logo, he's got Blaziken, Seismitoad. So I think he likes those two. But I don't understand the Naganadel Blaziken Alakazam core at all.
Look, he wanted big, strong Mon.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Do you see where he left off with? It's kind of like Phoenix with like the water type situation. Seismitoad, that's a good water. But see, the main thing is the main thing is for this time is his ice resist are not it because Seismitoad takes neutral. So Torterra's weak to it. Kingler basically does the ice resist.
Okay,
Fantastic.
okay. Huge. Kingler is not coming to a game. I thoroughly doubt it. His bottom 4 Pokemon are all just like irrelevant to me.
Fire isn't that bad. Torterra is usable. Miss Magi is sometimes.
Yeah. I think they could come to some. I mean, Kingler could come versus a scary ice type.
Yeah, versus the team with Glastrier. Yeah, no, Kingler's going to be
Disregard
huge.
a team for having low tiers. You're just undervaluing those mons.
Yeah,
Now see,
I think Electivire is good as well. I'm not really a fan of Torterra. I think
No one
Meganium is
is,
better.
but like I've seen it put in work.
Oh,
yeah,
I'm sure every Pokemon on. I mean, Aromatiz is I've seen it get like 4 kills in a game. It's just like the person didn't bring a fairy resist, so it just moon blasted everything.
Oh,
Um,
that Comfey though.
okay,
That don't bring a fairy resist, please.
I actually I like Jamal's fourth, fifth, and sixth Mon together. I think Mandibuzz, Seismitoad, Aromatisse is a good like Wish, Defog, Stealth Rock,
yeah.
defensive core. Which to me is
Like,
what propels it above the team I have ranked 13th, which we'll get to shortly. Um,
yeah, I do like. I will say, I do got some potential. Cause Mandibuzz do things. Mandibuzz just Mandibuzz. It can It can win games. It can.
yeah, it 1v6 exactly.
Exactly. So Mega the Sam, super crazy. I will say I really like his speed tiers, cause like he
Oh,
has
it's
a lot
blitzing.
of fast ones.
He's got a 121. Alakazam is just like one of the fastest around. And Blaziken with the speed boost. And the team doesn't really struggle versus Trick Room because it's got a good defense. And I don't even think anyone has Trick Room in this draft.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Well, I think we can move on. This team is a step above the three before it. Um, and I think he'll be able to win some games off the cheese of like his strong Pokemon, whichever is the best matchup. If
Yeah.
Naganadel, Blaziken, and Alakazam, the three of them come to a game, I think he has no chance of winning, just because there's just not enough room for defense.
I mean, I feel like it'll be a similar case as Lucas, where it's like if their offense can go crazy, they'll win games. And if they can't, it's a wrap. So it's just slightly better because he has Mandibuzz and Seismitoad as two really good Pokemon.
Yeah, it's not gonna be fun to play this team. That's what I'll say.
That is true.
It's difficult to prep for. And Matt is a like I can attest he's a good battler. The John Lord as they call him. So let's move on to the team I think is worse than that. But Jamal is actually a big fan of, and that boy has 11. Let's talk, and this is actually tied with another team, I should say. Let's talk about the Gibby Gibbles.
Now, see, let me go first. Now, listen, I was looking at the teams. I'm like, so I remember like in the question day because you asked what teams are we the most scared of, and I mentioned Moses' team. I'm like, I really like it. Then he makes all these transactions. I'm like, oh, I don't know what he doing. But then I look at it again. I'm like, hold up, team, it got potential. It got potential. He got the sand core with Drill, T-Tart. He had plus Draco Fish and Draco Soap, which is insane. Because he can spam Fish's Ren, spam both beak. That can really do well versus a lot of teams. He got the Slowbro, which is a good bulky water, and teleporting stupid in this gen. So he can teleport into one of those threads, or he can teleport a T-Tart to set up sand for free. So like, and Mega Pidgeot, I think is like an underrated Mega because like 100% 100% accurate Hurricanes is like really crazy, especially like since most teams may not have like a good flying resist because the usual one is a steel type, but it gets heat wave. So and plus he has Escadrille as well. So I really think this team has a lot of potential. It still has like a couple weak points because his ground resist aren't the best. Like he has Superior and Trevenant who are decent grass types. Then like his hazard removals can be is like okay as well because it's like again Superior, Pidgeot, Escadrille. But I really like the team. I think it could really do well.
There's no fairy type, and that's a huge deal breaker for me. I think the fairy is like one of the, if not the best type, probably behind water. Um, and I don't think this team functions if Tyranitar dies or doesn't come. I think Tyranitar is the absolute focal point of this team. Um, Considering that, um, okay, now granted, I think this team is absolutely terrifying. I think that if Woex trades out Trevenant for Shiinotic, um, and then gets something instead of Mr. Rhyme, that's a ghost type. Like, what I can see is he does Trevenant for Shiinotic and Mr. Rhyme for Frostlass, and I think this team's actually kind of good now.
That would be crazy.
But because you want to keep the ghost type for the fighting immunity, but you want to have Shiinotic for the fairy type and to put things to sleep. But and I think Superior's eternally underrated in draft because Scarf is good and not Scarf with Substitute is also good. Now
Yeah, and Glare.
Glare comes in on Defog. Now Excadrill is going to have to do a lot because I think he needs the utility of Excadrill because this team does not clear hazards very well outside of Excadrill's Rapid Spin. And something about that is that you don't want to really have Rapid Spin on your big Sand Rush. Okay, Dracovish and Dracozolt should never be on the same team. They're the same Pokemon, and I don't know why they're here together. I think you can get rid of Dracozolt for like any other electric type, even Raikou, and probably be fine. I think the rest of this team is fine. It's gonna be the most inconsistent team, depending on how weak the opponent is to Sand. Like, this team will get 6-0'd by Licky Licky one week. It'd be fine. Do you have any thoughts, Rakia?
I think that Wookiee Tongue's gonna 6-0 him.
Yeah, Licky Tongue has its way versus this team because they will not be getting up the weather. Yeah, this is the only full weather team that we have. There like we saw earlier, with Lucas with his hail. But this is this is 3 Sand Rush users, which is excessive. Dat Boy agrees, but as I said, he values offense. So he probably ranked him a bit higher. But I think we can move on to Skeet, who I think is got a nice team, but apparently y'all don't think so. Rakia, do you want to start? Okay, you can start this.
Go ahead, Ricky.
Yeah.
I mean, it has Mew and Spectre, which is just mons that are hard to prep for. And I've used Mega Manectric before, but I don't know what Riolu or Kabutops are doing here. Like, sure, you have Rain, budget Rain, but like, is that really worth it? Could you not have found something better than getting triple water that don't really work together?
Yeah.
Okay, granted. Volcanion is really good paired with Landorus. Because it's weak to ground, which Landorus is immune to, and it ×4 resists ice for Landorus. So I really like that. I agree that you don't really need the triple water, and Aurorus and Riolu are just completely out of place here. But I still really like just the fact that people are going to be like, oh, I got to prep for a Kabutops so I don't get 6-0'd, and then they lose out, because Mew and Ditto and Grimmsnarl are extremely difficult to prep for because they're so versatile. Spectrier and Lando T are going to be doing like similar things. They each have like 2 sets. I really like the front court that this team has. Granted, it's a team of 9 Pokemon because Aurorus and Riolu are useless here, but I was a fan of it, so I'm curious as to why y'all think it's lower.
Now, see, I will say, Skeet said, he started off strong. He got Mew, busted mine. I even got talked about it. Lando T, solid mine. Spectier, a new up and coming good mine. Okay, and I like Grimmsnarl as well. But see, I feel like from Volcanion, it's like, okay, that's a fine pick. I understand. Like you said, I do think it does well with Lando T. Ditto, I mean, can copy up. He doesn't have to worry about getting, like, auto sleep now, or auto swept now. But see, then he got Mega Electric. I'm like, ooh, that's where the downfall happened, because Mega Electric with no hidden power.
Yeah.
I don't know about that one,
Yeah.
Chief.
No, it's fine. I think you're underrating Mega Manectric without hidden power. I
It,
think it's a lot.
I mean,
it's just
it's probably okay, but
why
not
is
Jolteon for cheaper?
why is Mega Manectric destroyed by Graveler? Like, just because okay, you can't Volt Switch or Thunderbolt, and you can't overheat. So you just got a hard switch. HP Ice is something that made Mega Manectric like very potent. And no HP Ice, in my opinion, yes, Mega Manectric's a definite overpay. Now, granted, it's difficult to get a fast electric type at a budget price.
I mean, Jolteon was right there. That's not a Mega slot. And it's
I
cheaper.
mean, Jolteon's considerably worse than Mega Manectric.
I actually would.
Well,
I mean, Mega
yeah, you can
Manectric.
argue that.
Mega Manectric can't hit ground types. Jolteon gets Energy Ball. Then again, I don't think.
No, it's Weather Ball though.
I
Which
don't-
is why I thought he got Mega Electric Polytoad.
Oh wait, that's actually pretty smart. Okay. Yeah, no,
Shouldn't he have gotten Jolteon for Weather Ball?
Well, yeah, but you also need to fill up the Mega.
Mm-hmm.
You could have just done something like grab Mega Baynet or something that nobody uses and just like let it sit on your bench and rot away. Ditto I think is so overrated in terms of points. It's still gonna be helpful, but you slap it on when you don't know what else to bring.
That's fair.
It's not really something you have to be wary of in the builder. Reiki, any final thoughts on this team?
Not particularly.
Alrighty. Let us move on. So this team, I should have gone over. The average is 10.33, and it's tied for 11th with Matt, who was right before. Wait, that might not be right, actually.
Well,
It's tied with Woax. My bad. Okay, let's move on to the teams that are tied for 9th, starting with Shandy, who, I was surprised, made an improvement from last season in terms of his power ranking spot. But, okay, I like this team. It doesn't have, like, a standout pick for me, and that's why I have it low.
But
okay.
I like how this team works together.
Yeah, it has
Yeah,
great,
It's not as good as some of the
fantastic
other teams.
synergy. Fantastic synergy. In a league where just like stupid stuff like Ash Greninja is allowed, taking Rillaboom with the first pick seemed a bit like a reach. I wouldn't have been concerned that Rillaboom wouldn't have made it back. There were a bunch of ludicrous things still available to take. Now, granted, Zardex Rotom Wash is a fantastic pairing. Togekiss is always really good in draft. This team's also pretty fast, which is good. Trapinch is an amazing 1-point mon, and has Deoxys defense as well, which works really well with Togekiss, actually. So I actually, Reiki, I like your assessment where it's just like not as good as the teams above it. Hello?
I mean, I was like, nothing to say. I will say, yeah, like, literally, I like the combination of Real Boom. Sorry, that just don't know why. That is, like, really good. Then Weavile, on top of that, like, the
And
offense is
like,
pretty
he has
good.
low tiers too.
Yeah, that as well. See, the only, like, main, like, criticism I have is that his, like, dark types, like, okay, are, like, both frail, like, and one is not coming to a game, aka Liepard. I don't even know why it got taken.
No, Liepard's is the future of Pokemon. That mon's ridiculous. Yeah, he's gonna run choice band fake out and then switch out.
Yes. No. You're running in fake out. No other moves.
Yeah, fake out, and yeah, exactly.
That's the play. That's the.
Okay, I think that this team, you'd think that with Rotom Wash and Togekiss, two good defoggers, you'd be fine. I think this team struggles versus hazards a bit.
Yeah.
Um, it's got a lot of mons that you can put hazards up against. I think this team's hazard game putting up is really good. Steelix, Deoxys defense,
Mhm.
and that's actually it. But you know,
I
like,
feel like its removers want to do other things.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Rotom Wash, you're gonna want Volt Switch, Hydro Pump like almost every game, and then if you run Defog, you either don't get recovery with Pain Split, or you don't get any other utility in Will-O-Wisp because you're losing one of those moves. And you're gonna be wanting to run Choice Scarf Togekiss a lot. You might even want to run Choice Scarf Rotom Wash. Okay, I think this team has really good potential. I know Shandy really likes Charizard X, and is potent with it. And I don't think he's ever missed a Dragon Rush. And Girder's a pretty good budget fighting type.
Wait, he can rush goat.
Now, see, the only like one extra comment I want to make is that my main thing is he kind of struggles versus like a good like offensive fairy, since like a good special fairy since his steel type is steel links. So it's like that's the only like other concern. Well,
I mean, what good offensive and special fairies even are there? Like, you
it's
have Clef,
Sylveon.
and then I mean, I guess Sylveon, Mega Gardevoir, Clef.
I mean, I don't know. It's just like it's just something to like look at as well.
I really like
Because
Togekiss
I
as a
don't
fairy.
think we allow Floette Eternal, do we?
We do not allow Floette Turtle. Okay, let's move on to the other team that this is tied with. Me. Which I'm very sad because Dat Boy hates my team apparently.
I don't even think it's that bad.
No, okay. I'll start because I'm going to explain my team because I know it quite well. So the entire team is based around Hazard Stack. You have, I think, you have like 5 or 6 Pokemon that could put up Stealth Rock. Toxapex has T-Spikes. You have a fair amount of Spikers as well. Absol Mega has Magic Bounce, so you deter people from putting up their own hazards. Chandelure blocks Spin. I couldn't fit a Defiant user on, but Absol regular before you Mega Evolve can run Defiant, so they'll try to defog the, or that might not actually be true. I might be getting that confused with Justified, so never mind. But okay, to go back, Druddigon does a really good job of being beefy and then Dragon Tailing things in, which when you have a bunch of hazards up is going to be very scary to deal with. I got sniped on Tangela, but I was going to have Toxapex Tangela for the Regenerator Core. Toxapex Florges and Zapdos is a really scary defensive core. Chandelure has 2 immunities when you run Flash Fire. Actually 3, sorry. So you get to switch in to block the fire type moves that Ferroseed hates, and the fighting type moves that Mega Absol hates. And Deoxys Speed is really good. Once you chip things down enough, it's really fast, and there's not a lot that can stop it. Zapdos, Toxapex, Florges, Cobalion, all good versatile Pokemon. It's the best utility and defense in the draft, in my opinion, but it's one of the worst offensive teams. So that's why I think Dat Boy hates it so much, and the rest of it is middle of the pack.
Lackluster.
Yeah, and that's putting it lightly. I'm a big fan of defense, and I'm just hoping that people won't be able to like take me down Do y'all have thoughts? Because I just blabbed on.
See, the reason why I have the ninth is because, like you said, your team's offense is not the best. But see, the other thing is, I feel like you got more like a lot of the middle in the road like type of mine. So like they're not like really great in one thing, but they're not bad in like another thing. So like Florges, Kabalion.
Like jack of all trades Pokemon.
Yeah, like I think that was like my main thing, cause like the only build outstanding ones I see is like, or like ones that like I guess you could say like are like great is like Zapdos. I like the first thing, Young Speed, Zapdos, Toxapex. So, but I don't think it's a bad team. Like I think it's still like really good. And I know how much of a good player you are, so I know you can make it work. Plus, I really like Don Fan as a mon. I think it can do well. And Mega Absol is pretty cool too, as a Mega. So, and another thing is, like, your defensive mons, your mons that can be defensive can also be offensive. Because, like, for example, Zapdos, that, like, it can be defensive 1 week, but offensive Zapdos can go crazy too, especially since it has Hurricane now.
Oh, Choice Band Toxapex is fantastic.
Yeah, run that Merciless set.
Yeah, no, exactly. You run Toxapex and then you just start critting everything with Toxic Spikes up. Deoxys Speed is also a fantastic hazard setter as well, which really plays into the strengths of this team. It's built around Deoxys Speed to do whatever it wants. Since it does have Nasty Plot, which is going to be really fun. And its defenses are actually like 95 in both, I think, which is pretty good.
Don't
Yeah,
forget,
it's not bad.
you can't use Psycho Boost.
I cannot. I probably wouldn't. It's not really. I don't like moves that lower you. So. But I'm really excited to use Chandelure as well, because that thing is ludicrous special attack. And I like a big like nuke. Like I like Typhlosion, Chandelure, etc. etc. So okay, we can move on. Excuse me. If I was being biased, I'd say this is the best team. But, I also had the 15th pick, so I didn't really get any of like the really cool 2019 point mons that I wanted. Oh well. Next up is Sly Guy with the terrain team that everyone's terrified of. With actually, I think his low tiers are above average. By the way,
Okay.
for both of those teams that were tied for 9th, their average was exactly 10. Sly Guy's as average is 9.333, but his finals 8, because he's just a bit above. And then like these next two teams, 8 and 7, are in like their own borderline tier, and then the top 6 was universal. So Jamal, you actually have this team a bit lower than where it is. Do you want to explain why you don't like it as much?
Yeah. Now see, let me get that out of the way. If I was being biased, this would be a lot lower, because I hate Coco Lucha or like Terrain Lucha, because I think it's super cheap. Super.
Oh yeah, no. This is the cheapest team in the league. He's going full gimmick, and when I saw this, I was so upset.
That's what I'm saying. It's like this team feels super gimmicky. But so I would have lower if I was being biased. But I had to be fair.
Wait,
And
you
I
wanna know
see.
something funny?
What's up?
Holucha doesn't OHKO when Peasant at +2.
Wait.
That's so funny. With what move?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't even OHKO with Stone Edge.
What? What unpheasant set is this? That's so cursed that it lives at +2 Lucha.
Max Heat Tree, Max Defense.
Oh, okay.
Dance Loose, Toxic, Brayford.
That is so funny. Okay. I actually want to say really quick about this team. I am very glad that he did not take Gothitelle, because something that I've seen with teams like these, and the reason why Dugtrio was banned in Gen 7 is because you can trap their one Hawlucha or their one Regieleki counter. Basically, you can trap their ground type, and if they can't deal with Gothitelle, it's an auto loss because Regieleki is just gonna like give no fucks and kill the other 5 Pokemon. So I think that would have been like a contender for best in the league. Obviously,
Yeah.
Sly Guy didn't do
mean,
that, and
oh my
we're
God,
all
look
like
how slow.
thankful. Huh?
And don't give him ideas. I'm pretty sure Goth is undrafted.
It is undrafted. He's gone on record and said that he doesn't like the Mons, so he's not gonna do it. But Klefki's actually pretty good here, even though he already has a fairy, just because the utility that it provides is going to be, mainly like the prankster that it provides, is going to be helpful to open up his big 4 that are at the top. Slowbro is also a really dope Pokemon.
Imagine Hydreigon with a screen support. That's gonna be fun.
Hawlucha with screen support actually makes it a good Mon. Hawlucha sucks otherwise.
Yeah, man, I can't wait to fight this.
Yeah, no. He doesn't even have to run the Electric Seed. He can run the White Herb Skydrop Hawlucha set under screens.
Skydrop? What? What?
Huh?
Power, Sky Attack, or Wire Close Combat.
Oh, that's what I meant. It's not Skydrop, my bad. It'd be like Mental Herb Skydrop, but that wouldn't even be that good. Delmice.
That doesn't even work.
It just doesn't. Okay, I'm misinformed. Delmice is a good spinner. Articuno is actually pretty dope with boots. Good value.
Garbodor's a good setter.
I do like Garbodor as well.
Yeah.
It's
I don't like Pyroar.
nobody does. Pyroar's eternally overrated. I think you could. I think there are like 20 better fire types you could. I like Simisear more than Pyroar.
You know what? I think you should drop Pyroar for like Magmortars.
Yes.
I think you should drop Pyroar for Gothita. It literally Pyroar is like one of the worst mons around. Now, okay, we're obviously exaggerating, but Pyroar is just like not very good. Especially since this team is very specially biased. I would prefer like a physical fire type. Because you have Regieleki, Tapu Koko, Hydreigon, Slowbro, Mega. Those are all special. Same with Articuno. Now Delmice can run Band, but okay. This team's I think this team's good. I think this team has a chance to go far. Like make playoffs, but I think because it's so gimmicky, it's got a low ceiling. Like I think this team has a hard chance winning.
That's why I put it a little lower, because I feel like, obviously he had, like, it's a good gimmick, but it feels so gimmicky. Like if that gets shut down like easily, and it's not going, things like, what is he gonna do to recover?
Yeah.
Like,
And
the one that can recover from his Hydreigon.
This doesn't really have Wish. I don't think. Maybe Articuno gets Wish actually, but probably not. And
Well, I mean,
this team is actually
to be fair,
really bad
Okay.
if he doesn't bring Tapu Koko. Because he
Yeah.
needs the terrain. So okay. Any last thoughts?
I was gonna say, to be fair, at least his team, like, a good amount of mons have recovery though, like Coco, Hydreigon, Slowbro.
Yeah, and Slowbro doesn't have to Mega on the first turn, so it can keep Regenerator as long as it wants, which is pretty
Yeah.
cool. Okay, next up is your team, Rakia, which I have
I should
a bit
I
low.
should have played this.
Yeah, you go first.
So, whenever I checked this, I wasn't really drafting to get like, ooh, viable team, haha. I just wanted to pick mons I wanted to use, and I got sniped a bunch of my lower tiers, right? I wasn't gonna go as top heavy as I did. I was trying to
Okay.
get Girder over like Throw, and then my fairy got sniped, so I had to take Hatterene. So now my removal was strictly Tesserina, Andorus, and Latios, and 2 of those don't want to run that. But at least I have Magic Bounce, I guess. But I really like my top 8 mons, because I think they work well together. and I have decent offense.
Yeah, I like how your defensive core reinforces the crippling ice weakness that Landorus and Latios shared. Arcanine, Milotic, Registeel all do a good job there. Um, I really, really wish that there was a Trick Room abuser for Hatterene to be paired with. And I think you could have gone with something like the Crab Overthrow and just like
Nah,
ha-
broken.
have have the Crab sit there and come like 2 weeks.
I don't really like Hatterene as like a Trick Room setter for other mon. It sets Trick Room fine for itself, but it's not. I only really like Trick Room setters to other mons if they have teleport.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so like Porygon Slowbro. Fair enough. I like a thing that I saw with this team is that it is so specially biased. There's not a lot of physical.
Not fine physical, like physical audios, physical Landorus are all fine, and Tesserina, Thorough Arcanine.
Well,
Like I can run mixed sets as well.
yes, but mixed runs into the problem of you're suboptimal because you are missing out on points and whatever. I'm also like very anti-mixed. I don't think I've ever run mixed in a draft league. Spoiler alert: if you play me, you'll know you'll never have to prepare for that. But I just think mixed is like really bad. Now yes, Serena does well. You might want to be running defensive for Rapid Spin though. Yeah,
Defensive Rapid Spin's shout them.
is that a thing?
Yes.
I mean, the speed boost.
That's
Yo.
one of my drafted hope.
I want to see that happen then. Raiku's really good. Milotic's really good. I think this team is one of the top in terms of defense for sure. Because Hat is really fucking bulky. Lottie can sustain itself not as well as Latios, but still pretty well. And then, of course, Arcanine can pass wishes. Wait, no, that's just not true. It can teleport in Morning Sun, but I don't think it gets wish. Correct me if
It
I'm
doesn't
wrong.
get Wish.
Yeah, in terms of wish,
I'm
you
a
have
lot better than I am in another league in terms of special bias. In a different league, I have like 8 mons with 120 or higher special attack and 2 mons with more than 100 attack.
Licky Tongue's a great budget option. Simipour obviously doesn't fit here, but you like it, and most 2-point mons aren't coming much anyway, so it's kind of a nitpick.
No. I just wanted to grab a mon that it's funny.
No, I
I
can
didn't
respect
really
that.
care about that slot, so I just Simipour.
I mean, Simipour is one of my favorite Pokemon, so I don't blame you. All right, let's move on to the every single person ranked the next 6 teams in the top 6. So this is like the tier 1 contenders, you could say. I would say that in terms of tiers, it goes the bottom 3 would be tier 3, who I think need significant changes. The next 6, so from Matt all the way down to Rakia would be like tier 2 contenders that might need some changes or have some holes, but can still go far. And then these top 6 are like the teams that are really well put together, and they also have like some of them need a few changes, but the rest of them are good. Let's move on to number 6, which is DMBs, who has got an average of 5.666, but ended up at 6. Actually, I'm pretty sure that's just not true. It should be an average of 5.33, but they're gonna be at 6 either way. So my bad on the math, but let's talk about DM.
Now see, this team. So at first, I first looked at it. I'm like, where do I rank this? Because at first I'm like, this team kind of weird. He got Clay Dog, Toxicrow, Shuckle. I'm like, I don't know how I feel about this. But then I'm looking later. I'm like, I can't ignore the Magearna. Yes, I know. It got restrictions. No shift gear, no agility, I believe either. But it's a Magearna. This one busted.
Yeah, Magearna. Magearna or Megalodios, those are the two best that we've allowed. Torn T, it was a crime that that thing made it back to where it did.
That's what I'm saying.
I
Hey, Carol?
I was about to take it. Like, okay, I think his first 5 mons are fantastic, and I really like his low tiers as well. The only reason I put this team at 6 is because Mega Shark has no place on this team, because you already have a water and a dark type when you take it.
Well, see, I disagree with that. That's why I have it fun. Because at first I thought the same thing. I'm like, why do you get Mega Shark Peter? But then I thought about it, I'm like, wait, it's an offensive water dark type, so it can do, which is really good. Like, offensive dark type and offensive water type is really good. Just look at your ninja.
Mm-hmm.
But see, it's like, so it does like really well, and maybe it won't come like every week, but it can definitely get some wins for him. And while he has like the bulkier ones, like say he has to like it's Slow King and Umbreon, so like say he has to fight like a really offensive ghost type. He has Umbreon as a defensive dark type, which can help him, and he has Slow King for like any really offensive fire types.
So, yeah, I can definitely see that. Now, I was just saying I would have preferred he grab, like, there's no electric type on this team, which I think he'd
true.
appreciate. And like the dupes. I really like his regen core. Torn T, I've used Torn T in a slow before. It was Slow Bro, but that's like a fantastic core. I've also used Slow King and Kyurem on a team before, and that team was really good as well. I think if a Pokemon has slow in front of it and there's no Galar, I think it's a great Pokemon.
Oh, hold up! Don't sleep on Galar and Slow King now.
Galar and Slow King is really good.
And no, it's just like
you said.
overrated in my opinion.
Okay.
Yeah, there's just so to me, this team and the next team, there's something very similar about them to me. That they're really good teams where there's one mon that's out of place, and the difference for me is that the one mon that's out of place on the 5th ranked team is actually like really good.
Okay.
So we'll talk about that in a second. Shuckle is actually a really dope Pokemon. Magmortar also, you can't really exchange Pyroar when we were talking about Sly Guy's team because it's already off the board.
Just get Magmar.
Yeah, Magmar might actually be good here.
Magmar gets some more points and is better than Pyroar.
Yeah, and then he could splurge and maybe get something better than I already forgot his team. Okay. Alright, let's move on to the 5th ranked team, which is Datboy, at an average of 4.33. Of course, Datboy always ranks himself insanely high compared to.
Yeah, I don't know about that. He kept been saying his team is second.
Okay, sorry. This is Helix's team, straight up. Helix had Dragapult, Mega Mawile, Rotom Heat, Nidoking, Munchlax last season.
Yeah.
And Masquerain, so 6 out of 11 Pokemon.
I didn't even notice that.
Which, okay, granted, Helix lost in the first round of the playoffs in Consolation, so he did the worst he possibly could have. I think that was because he got really unlucky in a lot of his games, or just like died in stupid ways. But with the added Ash Greninja on this team, and in my opinion, equivalent low tiers to last time, Helix was actually ranked 4th. I think that's partially because we had like worse teams overall. But the one thing that made me put this at 5, and I'm sure you could weigh in a sec, Jirachi, you already have a Psychic. Actually, you don't already have a Psychic, so that's just misinformation. But you already have a you already have a Steel, and like you already have a Pokemon that wants to like U-turn and stuff. I Actually, Greninja, Ash, and Dragapult both U-turn. This team actually
no,
is...
no. Don't get me wrong. Mawile is not a steel type. It's fine getting double.
Yeah. Nah,
Okay.
nah.
I think it's a bit... Just from a defensive perspective, I don't really like the two steals. I know that most of the time Mawile won't even run a steel type move because it'll just run like Focus Punch or one of the elementals or just knock off Sucker Punch. But you know, it like adds another weakness to ground. In my opinion, I think that Mold Breaker Excadrill on the Sand team from earlier
Yeah.
wrecks his team because it'll destroy the Rotom Heat, and then he's got a ton of ground immunities, but that's like obviously very specific. I think this team's really good overall.
Now see, I like this team, and you know I probably gave it 55th as well. But then I noticed one thing. I noticed one crucial thing. Why knockoff is so good versus DB's team? Like, like if you got knockoff UC, you should probably bring it because he has so many Mars that doesn't appreciate losing their items. Like he has three Eviolite users right there. He has Rotom He who doesn't want to lose boots. Dragapult don't want to get knocked off in general, so it's like knockoff is so good for his team. I'm like, nah, I can't put it any higher.
I really-
That's 6-0 by Weavile.
I'm glad that Mega Mawile is the Mega and it resists the knockoff. That
Yeah.
actually, to me, remedies that a bit. But yes, you've got, okay, two Pokemon that just get clocked by a knockoff in terms of type effectiveness. Ashgren hates losing its item. Rotom Heat hates losing its item. Nidoking hates losing its item. And you've got 3 Eviolite users. So your second best knockoff switch is Hitmontop, and your third best knockoff switch is Masquerain. There's something really wrong.
That's what I'm saying. I couldn't put it higher just because of that. Plus, like the thing with Mawile, yeah, it's good that like it helps out a little bit. But see, as like mentioned before, which is why I like Jirachi on this team. Make a Mawile, like, cause I've been using it in like another league, and it's not the best steel type defensively. Like I'm more used to like using defensive steel types, and
Yeah.
make a Mawile as one is like kind of, you know, it's okay. That's why I really like Jirachi. But see, that's weak to knockoff, so yikes.
Yeah, you do run into knockoff problems. That's kind of like Dark Sam's team from last season, because he had Corsola, Galar, and Gliscor, and like not many good dark types. Like dark resistances, he kind of got knocked the fuck off. I think that might happen to this team too. I still really like this team. I think that, like, knowing Datboy is a battler as well. Poor mentality, but he's like a really strong prepper. I think his prep is fantastic.
Oh yeah.
And I think this team allows you to prepare a bunch of different things. Jirachi's extremely versatile. Ashgren and Dragapult are very versatile as well. Even Mega Mawile can run like 2 different sets. I'm excited to see what I'm excited to see what he does. Now, I think webs are just like not good here. But Masquerade's funny. So, okay, let's move on to number 4, which is Marijna, which I know for a fact I'm pronouncing wrong. But it's fun to say it like that. So 3-4-5. Jamal likes this team. Huh?
I bet you Ashgren doesn't get a kill and it never goes Ash all season.
Is that for that boy? That'd be really
That would
sad.
be funny.
Ashgren's a lot easier to get a kill with than you realize. Okay, or than it seems. Okay, I actually am a big fan of this team. Like this is a team I would use.
Same. I love this team. Outside of the grass type being Sceptile.
Okay, well even then, Sceptile is actually really dope here because you run the Misty Seed with Tapu Fini and you get the Unburden
Oh,
boost.
yeah. like that's cool. I just I kind of wish he had a more defensive one on this team. But even with that, even with only that, I still really like this team. Like it's a great team.
Yeah, no, this
Mega
team's
Scizor plays
so sick.
Protein Grand.
Yeah, Mega Scizor is something that fell a bit. Granted, Torn T is still better, but yeah, no, Mega Scizor fell a pretty substantial amount. He gets regular Latios as well. He actually does kind of not appreciate fairies, but that's more nitpicky. Miltank's a great wish passer. Tapu Fini is a fantastic defensive Pokemon. Mega Scizor is really bulky. Gren is like one of the most versatile Pokemon in the game. Lottie,
Especially a protein.
yeah, Lottie gets Healing Wish too. Swampert's actually really good this gen because it got Flip Turn. Even with the 3 waters, Greninja's not even really a water type.
Yeah.
Neither is Swampert, really.
Yeah. I mean, it's usually just gonna be like Stealth Rock, Toxic, Earthquake, Flip Turn. So
The thing is,
Yeah, I was
right?
gonna say-
He has like 8 grass resist, so.
that is a
He
true.
got a whole Sap Sipper, Miltank, and a Mega Scizor. I think he good.
Yeah.
Plus, all 3 waters do different things, so he should be fine.
Yeah, I'm not nervous about it at all. Rotom Fan's another really good Pokemon that helps him clear hazards, because without that, I feel like hazards are a bit of a problem. And I was going to say that status, like Toxic, seemed really good versus this team, and then he remedies it with a Tapu Fini.
I mean, there's ways around it. Like if you kinesis them, then you can toxic. Is it kinesis? What's the one that lifts them into the air?
I think.
Gravity, or no, I think it's the opposite of gravity. I don't know. Magic Room, maybe. I've got about as much of a clue as you do.
I mean, the only thing is, his only removers are defoggers, which get rid of terrain, so he can help you out.
Yeah.
You know, just help me out.
But hazards aren't even that good versus this team. Aside from hitting Clown.
It's only Pacificlon and Mega Scizor, which is like the only ones that kind of don't appreciate hazard. Well, more so Spikes for Mega Scizor, but yeah.
Yeah, and Spikes run into a lot of issues because they don't hit Latios. I think the only reason this team is not number 1 is because the 3 teams above it are better.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of issues. Like there's no Jirachi or Mega Shark on this team. Like okay, Dottler is eternally overrated. I don't know why everyone likes it so much. And they're better 2-point mons, especially without adding another psychic type. But it's also like you can't get mad at someone's 2-point Pokemon. Anyway,
He's not bringing those bottom too. He's not.
exactly. No, Probopass is coming every week. Okay, let's go over this final 3 really quickly. So Datboy has this team at number 1. Jamal is a bit more humble. He's the only person that didn't overrate his team out of the 3 of us, and I have it where it is at number 3. So Datboy can explain why he thinks this is the number 1 team later, but let's start off with Jamal discussing and explaining his own team.
Now see, I gotta start this off with how'd I end up where Shifu straight the second round? When I was like, the 14th pick? Like, I was at the bottom of the draft.
What I want to know is, how is it 17 points?
Hey, hold on. Because it didn't win last season anyway. So, the reason why I gave this team number 4 is because, well, one, I wanted to help myself, because I was thinking, I'm like, I think my team's good, but I wanted to help myself. Plus, I feel like the other 3 teams that are ranked higher than mine, even though, like, maybe they're not, people would disagree that they're better than mine on paper, I think they have more potential to be an amazing teams if they just make a couple, like, switches and all that. Like, I think
you need to make a couple changes, right? So,
Yeah,
I'm going to trade you Reggie Steel, you're going to pick up Reggie Lucky and Reggie Draco in your guys'.
Exactly. You need all the Reggies. Okay, I super duper like the top 5 of this team, and I also like not in terms of synergy, but I just really like Jellicent as a Pokemon. I'm sure it's fine synergistically as well, but I haven't really analyzed
I
it.
love Jellicent.
Jellicent's a great bulky.
It also pairs well with Urshifu.
It does pair well with Urshifu. Weezing Galar is the most annoying Pokemon on this team, and I'll explain why. It is because you've got a lot of 4 times weaknesses on this team. Weezing Galar makes 4 times weaknesses like if you're running like an Ice Beam to hit the Gliscor instead of a move to hit the Weezing Galar, it comes in every single time. So, and knowing Jamal is always able to get in his Pokemon safely. He's the best battler we have, except for maybe Ozma, who we haven't gotten to, because I know for a fact she's really good too. So that'll be some fun competition to watch. I'm very upset she's in my division, but I digress. And he sneaks in a round 7 Zeraora, which I just vomit. I vomited when I saw that.
When I was like prepping, I'm thinking like, dang, it looks like I'm gonna really have to pick up a joke there. I'm like, whatever, I'll use it. But then I'm like, cause I was gonna get something else. But I'm like, wait, does that say Sarah still available? I typed that in with the swiftness. I'm like, nah, cause the reason why I was thinking joke done is because at the time I was like, my speed tiers, they're okay. It's kind of similar to my last team where it's like I had a super fast mon, aka Mega Alka Sam, but this time it's Zeraora, and then I have like a decently fast mon, aka Garchomp last time, but Latias this time.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yeah, Zeraora makes this a lot better.
The speed tiers are really good here. Urshifu, I can vouch, is a great Pokemon in the draft format. I had it. I used it to great success last season. Not versus you, but like in general. Reiki, thoughts on this team?
I don't really know what to say about it. We're talking about Ozma, right?
No.
Are we still talking about Jamal?
We're still talking about Jamal. Oh, by the way, spoiler alert. Ozma's number 2 and Lynn's number 1. But okay, let's talk about Jamal still.
I think you're gonna be fine, but you might struggle with special offense sometimes.
I can see that.
It's like you have Latias and then occasionally Zeraora, but like Latias is like your only special attacker.
I mean, I got Heatran too. It's not bad offense.
Yeah, no, I also.
Heatran on this team isn't gonna be offensive that many weeks.
That's what I was gonna say. I think, like, you've got a lot of versatile Pokemon. Like, and this is of course like a nitpick considering how good the team is. You've got a lot of Pokemon that aren't like, for example, I really don't see Swords Dance Gliscor coming to a lot of different games. I think you're gonna really value that that defensive utility that it provides, which is gonna kind of like hamper its usefulness. Now, granted, that's not awful because the only reason you're bringing defensive Gliscor and defensive Heatran a bunch is so that Latias and Urshifu get opened up in Zeraora.
Yeah.
Zeraora is a fantastic Pokemon in draft. I haven't used it in a long time, but it's really good. And then, of course, your low tiers are fine.
It's in the proof form. I just picked it up.
Yeah, he's got the drip.
Had a what?
For Leafeon and for Heatran, yeah. That you should not have opened up and said that. I'm actually really mad at you. Please don't do this, Jamal. Spare us. Okay. So as we said earlier, Ozma's number 2. Pretty universally, of course, Datboy likes to overrate his team, so that's why Datboy has it in at number 3. But I think this is like pretty universally the second best team.
This team is like I just want to get this out of the way. This team is so close to being number 1 for me. It's just there's just one thing. There's just one mon I wish she picked up instead of Roselia Scrappy. And I'm good. And that's I wish she picked up Drapion with this team. If she got Drapion, this team would be perfect. This team would be number one for me. Cause I think, like, cause Drapion would give her like a speed, like feeling like a speed tier for her. Gives her T spikes, give her a good like, and still gives her like a reliable poison and dark type. I just want to get that away.
It does get T spikes.
So basically resilient, but better.
Yeah, I actually would have liked that.
Cause she also has the Citrus of Grass.
So I helped Ozma a bit. Basically by helping her, I mean she'd say I've got a really good pick plan, and I'd be like, yeah, that is a good pick. Please spare us, and she wouldn't. So Cinderace, Garchomp, Celesteela, Sylveon, was like that was already like a top half team right there. And that's exactly what you want in a core. I mean, Garchomp covers Celesteela really well. Immune to electric, resists fire. Celesteela helps with fairy, and kinda helps with ice. Cinderace is there for ice. Libero makes it very versatile. You've got court change as well, which is probably the best thing you can ask for, as you don't really need much other hazard removal. Swellow on this team is so horrifying because she's just gonna be running Specs Boom Burst a bunch. We
Every game.
forgot to increase the Specs Scrappy normal type Pokemon, so we were going to make Swellow 9 and Exploud 10. Because like.
Wait, no. Swellow's better than Exploud.
No, then I think Swellow 10 and Exploud 9 then, my bad. We were going to increase those because we increased all the Shell Smash Pokemon. We could like stuff that we didn't really value, but we forgot to. So she steals Swellow at 8 points, which was frustrating to say the least. Togedemaru at 2 points is also really good value because you can run Scarf on that thing pretty well.
I also put Kekli on this team.
Oh yeah, the Kevin kind of low key nice on this team
Like it's just
because
gonna be
provides
Spinning
rocks,
Wave and rocks every week.
which is good enough because look at the rest of the team.
Yeah. Blastoise, of course, does not get Shell Smash. Otherwise, it would be at like 19 points instead of 13. But rapid spin to increase its speed. Mega Launcher with like Water Pulse, Aura Sphere, Dark Pulse, Rapid Spin. I can see working. Wish support really helps this team because Celesteela and Blastoise don't get natural recovery, so they really appreciate it.
And has Hilbo for the Garchomp.
Yeah.
With Wish though, broken.
And of course, Garchomp is just such a frustrating Pokemon in this format because it's so strong, and like Jamal can get away with running soft sand, Garchomp versus me. I'm like, okay, this thing's not Life Orb, so I should live. Nope, it's just soft sand. I die. Okay.
Oh, Garchomp is so good.
Anything else about Ozma, or are we gonna move on to Lynn?
Please
I think we
pick
can-
up Drapion and maybe get an electric type. But Drapion's the main thing. You got a perfect team.
She has Togedemaru for electric.
No, I know,
The best
but
electric type in the game.
like talking about kind of like I don't know if she'll break it much because she has Celesteela.
That is true.
Just get
One thing I can see is like if a team is like it picks up Magnezone versus her, she might have some trouble because Celesteela would just get trapped.
That's just one matchup.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying that's like the biggest nitpick I've ever had. Okay, and next up is Lynn. Datboy hates Lynn, so he ranked him low on purpose. But this is like pretty obviously the best team. And it's because we saw Skarm Bliss last year. This has Corviknight Chansey, which is arguably better.
I just like compared to other teams, like even though I will say it's a like kind of a ground week because he got Colossal. Kraydilly doesn't resist ground. And then the only real one is Corviknight.
Yeah,
I
I mean
think
Rotom
there's,
gets
like, the
Levitate.
Yeah. So I think there's like the closest like balance team because like the offense is like the speed, but like the offense is really good. And like Mega Gallade, Darkrai, and then like plus Haxorus and Rotom. Then he has good defense mons, like you said, Corviknight Chansey, even Nidoqueen.
Comfy.
and Comfey. Like he just has a lot of like versatile monsters.
Quagsire.
I like the versatility a lot too.
Also, I like Comfy on this team because he has a lot of ways to get rid of the steel type.
Yeah.
What makes me like very upset looking at this team is the fact that this team supports Darkrai specifically with Hypnosis ungodly well. Because it provides Darkrai with such a safety net if Hypnosis misses, and I'm just like, that's just like so great.
Also, wait, I'm pretty sure Chansey gets Gravity. That's pretty broken.
Yeah, Gravity Chansey is the future of Pokemon. Chansey is just like an utterly ridiculous and versatile Pokemon in draft, and pairing it with a Steel Flying is really good. As I went 10-1 last year with Blissey and Skarmory, which is, albeit a bit different. Like Corviknight's not as defensively bulky, but it does live special hits, so the synergy is not as good as Skarmory. But Corviknight, we also that's one of the few Pokemon we.
Corviknight's actually bulkier than Skarmory. It eats hits better because it has more HP.
And it has
way more Spadef.
And it has U-turn too, which is huge.
Yeah, like as someone.
The only thing Storm has is hazards.
Yeah, that's I personally like Skarm more because it has like 130 or 140 in defense. And then you pair that with Blissey with 255 HP and like 105 special defense. That's just, to me, that's like all you could ask for in a core. But I really like this as well in Corviknight Chansey.
Yeah, I'm definitely a big fan of Corviknight. You know, it literally carried me last season. So I know it can do it. It can go crazy. But
I want to
like
see
I said. Plus, like I said, the versatility is crazy because like even like his more defensive ones like Corviknight and Nidoqueen, they can be offensive too. Like offensive Nidoqueen, you can't sleep on it. Same with Corviknight, like bulk up and all that.
Continue. Sorry.
And then like one other thing that I just thought about is that he has teleport with Chansey, so Chansey can literally teleport. Like say you go into your flying type, Chansey can teleport out, go into Galway, and start going like all his offensive things, and then it's like, oh wow.
Yeah. Okay. I think if I were Lin, I'd drop Mega Gallade for Mega Medicham, just because.
Oh my goodness.
The like fake out on this team, pure power fake out on this team, disgusting.
I just have one nitpick.
Okay, what is it?
His entire team is just 6-0'd by Marshall.
Yeah, what the heck? That's so stupid. Yeah. Dude. Yeah, no, Phoenix's Marshadow is gonna put in work versus this team.
Now, what you mean? My Marshall come through.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's just okay. I would have preferred a grass type that resisted ground.
I do agree.
I don't think Credilli is like what you're looking for. I mean, the rationale I can see is that it's got a Storm Drain and it actually pairs really nicely with Colossal. But you know, I think if I were Lin, I would get Mega Medicham, drop Cradilly for like Eldegoss maybe, and then you're smooth sailing. You'd be easily the best team. Well, yeah, I think Mega Medicham works better for the team, because Fake Out is really nice.
Yeah.
Alright, but that's all. Thanks for watching. If you stuck around all the way till the end, most of y'all probably just fast forwarded to where y'all were in the power rankings. But thanks so much for watching. We'll be, or at least I'll be around for the mid-season power rankings. Hopefully. I hope you enjoyed. This is Bolivia signing out. Bye bye.